Hi, this is Mrs. Posey, and I'm going to demonstrate for you today the directions for drawing your hand with symbols or drawings of images that you like. And we're going to start with a pencil, a piece of plain white paper, and you are going to start by tracing your hand on this page. Try to keep your pencil nice and vertical so that the pencil doesn't slip under your fingers and give you a distorted view. Also, so it doesn't get extra wide and give you like the Stay Puft Marshmallow hand. And I'm going to follow my wrist all the way out to the edge of the page. So when I'm done tracing, I should have these lines touching on the edge of the page, the hand filling most of the space, and have some space around the top and sides. So the first direction is you're going to create some lines that go out from the edge of your fingers to the edge of the page. You can decide if you want them to be straight or curved or zigzagged. I'm going to do mine curved. And then in these spaces, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. And if you want to divide this big one here one more time, I might do something like that so that I don't have a huge space. Maybe I'll divide this one. But if you don't have huge spaces, you can leave it as it is. In these spaces, you're going to do complex patterns like we did in class. So, and they're going to be different. So in this one, I'm going to do one with straight lines. So I'm going to lower this pen for you. I'm going to do this one with starting with straight lines. And remember, for complex patterns, each pattern must have a minimum of 3 or more motifs. So one motif in this one is going to be a straight line, and I'm not going to use straight line again like this in any of the other ones. My second motif in here might be that I'll do a zigzag line in every other one, and something like this. And the idea is that you have already, hopefully, a page of 10 circles with complex patterns on them, and you can use those. If you didn't do that correctly and you didn't make complex patterns, you can go back, correct it, and turn it back into me. And then in this row, I'm going to do a circle and a dot. Now, I could do the exact same thing in each row, or I could even make this even more complex, and I could do something else here, but minimum I have 3 motifs, and in this one I'm going to have more than 3, which is fantastic. So here I'm going to alternate back to my circles with dots, and then here's my squares with X's inside. Here we got squares. I'm going to show a partial square there, here, here. Okay, now I'm going to do the same for the rest of these spaces, and I might change it up. Like I might have some, this one I have these straight lines, and this one I'm going to do something that is more random, and I'm going to do spirals, and I'm going to do them in sort of different sizes. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do a cool like triangle as part of this one, and I'm going to do a random pattern where things aren't arranged by row or by divided line. And let's see, for my other shape in here, I think I'm going to do a smiley face, because that's how I'm feeling, smiley. Alright, I'm going to fill this space. So I don't want to see big gaps and big empty areas. I want to also, on the edges, work right out to the edge. I don't want to leave a big halo around here, so I might even make it look like some of these shapes are running out the sides. If I have an empty spot, I'm going to fill it with something so it doesn't look empty. And I then would be doing this to the rest of these spaces. Every space has to be filled with pattern. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is we're going to work on the center part of the hand. So we're going to first put in here our initials, and I'm going to make mine to fit, sort of. So I'm going to do my J here, and it's going to fit into this. And I'm going to do my G sitting right under this part of the J. And I'm actually going to let this J come over here and become part of my P. Okay, and I sort of did this on my graphic organizer. I started to give them a style. So at this point, right now they're just sitting on here in stick lettering, and I don't want to leave it like that. So I'm going to just go around my stick lettering, and I'm going to give it some interesting shape. I looked this up online, which is where you should be doing it as well. And I'm going to create an interesting shape for my letters. And I'm going to let this one across here sort of flow like that. I'm going to go around my P. So I trace sort of like around it to make the outline of the shape. And then I'm going to erase the inside stick lettering. Well, if I have a better eraser. And then, I'll have to get one in a sec. I'm going to do that in here too. I'm going to trace inside this and make this my G. I'll extend that, and I'll erase away the inside stuff. So I have like not really just a basic block style lettering, but lettering that has sort of some cool shapes and will give me a cool overall design. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to put, so I got a better eraser, here we go. So I'm going to erase away all that junk on the middle. Because I'm either going to come in here and add some value with my pencil, or if I have color pencil or a Sharpie or something, I can add some cool color and detail later. Alright, so I've got my initials on there. Now up each one of these fingers, I'm going to give a word that describes me. So I'm going to, in this one, I'm going to put funny. In this one, I'm going to put actually in this one, because I have a short one, I'm going to put cool. Well, I think I am anyway. Funny. I am honest. I try to always tell people the truth, even sometimes it's hard. I try to be nice about it, but I try to tell people the truth. And then in this one, I'm going to put diligent. Diligent, because I try and work at something until I get it. And I don't give up until I actually get it. Now, I have all this empty space. Now imagine the outside here is all filled already with our patterns. And in here I'm going to start putting the things that I came up with for my symbols. So one of my symbols was a tree without leaves, because I was born in October, which is the beginning of fall, when the trees lose their leaves. So I'm going to put a tree in here without any leaves. It'll just be a very branchy tree coming up from the bottom. Let me think what some of my other symbols were. I might have to look. Let me get out my reference and look. So let's see. If I'm looking at my graphic organizer, okay, so I'm going to put a ring on there since I recently got married. I'm going to put my art stuff. I'm going to put on my I Love Vacation and my cell phone and some music. All right, so I'm going to set this off to the side. And I'm going to start filling this space with those other things. So I'm going to put the Cancer ribbon that represents my mom here. I'm going to put the saw blade that represents my dad in this one. So with the small little teeth. And then I want to make it look like it's cutting, like it's spinning some movement lines. I'm going to put my diamond ring. Oh, maybe I would put that here. Nah, I'm going to put it here because I'm just going to use it as a symbol. I'm not trying to make it look real. And my ring here. Let me move that onto the page. Okay, so I've got my saw blade, my ribbon, diamond ring. I'm going to put my paintbrush because I love to make art, and I'm going to allow it to bend with this thumb. So it's going to curve and bend with this thumb here. Okay, and then I'm going to put my birth sign is Libra, so I'm going to put that in here, and I looked that up online. Looks like this. It's also on the PowerPoint. You could open if you need it here. So there's my Libra sign. Oh, I'm going to put my Steeler diamonds. Ooh, I'm going to put those in here though. One here, one here, one here. And then I'm going to put a football into this end of my pinky here because I love football. Well, I love Steelers football. Let's go with that. Okay, now, ooh, I got to get my book on there somewhere because I really love to read. So I might have to back this off a little bit right here. And maybe I'll put my book here into this space. So don't be afraid to like erase and adjust. That's why we're drawing with pencil first. And then if you want to go back in later. All right, so that is, oh, I can get my cell phone on here. I cannot forget that. I got space right down here. I'm going to put, oh, I'm going to put my cell phone, nope, I'm going to put my cell phone here. And then I'm going to put my beach here. Maybe I'll even do something like put a cool wave here for water. And then here I'm going to put a little tree, like a little palm tree. Okay, so now I have my symbols on here. And let's say I've done my background. There's a couple things you can do. If you're going to leave it as a pencil drawing, you're then going to go in and add some value. I mean, we don't want to leave everything just outlines of things. You can either go in and shade inside, like maybe I'll lightly shade neatly inside this area. Or I could do small lined patterning like this. I'll show you in 1 second. So one way would be to lightly shade, neatly sort of color in to give value of gray so it's not so plain. I could come in here and just add more lines to make it more interesting. So it's again not so plain. I could come in here and do like tight lines through here. So you're going to pick how you want to create values. Now, if you don't want this thing to be black and white, you could at this point come in with color pencils. So let's say in this one, I want to add color. I could come in and, you know, color my triangles, and I'd probably do sort of like light values with the color pencil, not really heavy. But that's going to be up to you because you're going to have to choose that. So I would come in and I could shade value in here. Maybe I would come into the background and add some more pattern. Maybe I would come in and shade in the entire background lightly with an overall color. Another way, and I would try to make it really, really neat, if you're going to put an overall color on it, nice and light and nice and even. And if you aren't somebody that can do nice and light and even, you're going to practice on a blank sheet until you can. Another thing you could do before you do that, if you want to make it look a little more dynamic, is you could come in with an ultrafine Sharpie or with a micron pen or even with a ballpoint pen, and you could trace over your pencil. So you could come through here and go over this in marker, and you could trace it first, trace any parts of your design. You then could go back in, erase away the pencil, and that's why we always go nice and light. And then you could add color after, and it would be like a Sharpie looking drawing with dynamic black lines, and adding color that way. Most people have colored pencils, but I do have colored pencils ordered for a 6th grade. So, all right, so those are your ways to finish. So if you are going to stick with pencil, you're going to create shading in your patterns. If you want to add color with colored pencil, you can do it on top of the gray pencil, or you can go over it with a marker or a pen, and you can then erase away the pencil and do black and with the Sharpie, and then come back in with color. When you're done, you're going to photograph your work and upload into Schoology. Have a great day.